through hard work with Gary, people like Gary and Danny, a lot of others involved. The coaching clinic in October is one of my favorite events of the year. And it's great to see how the hall's progressed. I haven't been down here for a few years, so it's nice to see how this is all grown. I'd like to start out with a bunch of thank yous from starting with my assistants that I've had throughout my career. Dale Eschelbrenner at Pembroke was a longtime assistant, Brian Humbarger, Terry Marshall, and Kristen Kanopic. And then my assistants at Blue Springs, currently Les Glandular and Roger Lower, Galen Davis, and a former assistant at Blue Springs, Jeff Harden. I next would like to thank a big thank you to my family, my mother Nora, who was unable to make it, and my father Jim and his wife Lisa. They were both very influential in getting me involved in sports. My dad coached me all through Little League and got me involved in sports, a number of sports, and hooked me on sports when I was a young kid. I'd like to thank my wife Missy, who, as so many other coaches in front of me have pointed out, how they get neglected in basketball season. She's very passionate in all of my basketball games. I probably couldn't step foot off the stage without pointing out that she did pick Duke to win the national championship. And she did destroy my bracket in the NCAA tournament this year. But also just how I feel really blessed to be 50 years old and have parents that go nearly all my games, a wife that goes to nearly all my games. Just very fortunate in that regard. And I also would like to thank all of my players. I've been blessed to coach a number of players. I will. We're in Springfield, so I'll point out Tiana Stowe, who's playing for the Lady Bears right now. And Lizzie Wendell is playing at Drake currently. One of my favorite moments in coaching was this year, watching when first game when Missouri State went up to Drake and Lizzie scored 43 against Missouri State, and then when Drake visited Missouri State, Tiana scored 27 on Drake. So it was a real proud moment to watch those two interact as former teammates. It was very, very humbling to sit there and lunch and see all the names on that plaque. All the people that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Tony Armstrong, Lynn Long, some of those are responsible for a number of my losses, unfortunately, but they're great coaches, and it's very humble to be a part of them. And then it was even more humbling to hear these guys in front of me stories and their accomplishments. It's really feel like I shouldn't be up here in the same breath with these guys, but I'm lucky and honored to be here. The main thing to me that this is, winning 500 games this year and being inducted in this has made me reflect a lot, and really just on all the good memories and relationships that you form with opponents, coaches, your former players, your fellow coaches that you coach with. Basketball is a great game that's allowed us all to make a lot of great relationships. And a couple things that I would like to point out, and just some examples of those relationships. Had a player named Andy Mossy, so I Pembroke, that played at Missouri, started 3 years there, was a captain. You always hope as a coach you're influencing kids, but you never really know at the time whether you are. She saw that I was being inducted and sent me a nice email saying how important basketball was in shaping her life and her becoming an athlete and going on to college. But probably, as we all have millions of stories like that, probably one of my favorite stories was from another kid that I coached at Pembroke, Katie Myers, who never played, didn't hardly get to play games, didn't think basketball probably was very impactful at all to her. She went out to Duke University, has become a neurosurgeon, and surprised me a couple years ago, one of our state championship games, came out and just surprised me, showed up at the state championship. It was a really tough loss, and went back to the hotel with all my close people, fellow coaches, family. Katie was in there with all of them, and it's just things like that really make this a special profession. It really puts in perspective, it makes the wins and losses not very significant when you realize the relationships that you form. She wrote a letter to me that said, high school basketball was one of the biggest influences in my life. Growing up, I learned hard work, commitment, and how to be a part of something bigger than what I could accomplish on my own. And those are the things that you don't always realize you're doing at the time or impacting at the time. And it's really a special feeling to know when you have that former players come back or former players send you a message. It's really a special thing. The one thing I think that goes sometimes that goes overlooked is how much an impact it's just a great honor and a great privilege to when you have former players come back and support you or say stuff. So I just am really grateful to all the players I've had the opportunity to coach, all the coaches that I've had the opportunity to coach with, all the friendships and relationships I formed. I'd like to say thank you to the committee and thank you to everybody that's been a part of my basketball career.